Hey guys, welcome to the Thursday interview. Today we are joined by a very special guest, a Scottish Green Party candidate for Mid-Scotland and Fife for the upcoming Scottish parliamentary elections, Lewis Campbell. So to start off with, we have some very general questions. What are the basic principles of your party?
I think it's difficult to pin the basic principles of the Scottish Green Party down to just one word, but I think one of the central aspects of it is prosperity and how we can increase prosperity both for our generation, for our parents' generation, and indeed for future generations. That's basically a tenet of sustainable development. How can we create an economy which works for the people and not the other way around? How can we create a society that feeds into that, and how can we have a healthy environment as well?
What would your party be looking to achieve in Parliament?
Well, right now, over the course of the last Parliament, we've only had 2 MSPs out of 129, so that's not a great deal. But what we have done is we put a lot of pressure as a credible and constructive opposition to the Scottish Government. We put a lot of pressure on them to have a moratorium on fracking, which means that there's been no fracking in Scotland thus far. It's just a temporary moratorium. We'd be pushing to make that a permanent ban on fracking. One of the things we've done is we're putting pressure on them for a land reform bill. We want to have a fairer land reform. We've got one of the most, in Scotland we have one of the most unequal patterns of land ownership in the developed world, and that's just not acceptable today. We need to have a land register where we know exactly who owns the land, whether it's owned in tax havens. We'll be pushing so that you can't have Scottish land owned in tax havens. We'll be pushing for a carer's wage of more than the living wage. It'll be £9, which recognises what carers contribute to our society, but also for non-paid carers, they'll have a 50% increase in the carers allowance, which will come because of the new powers that the Scottish Parliament is having. There are other things that we'll be proposing. Of course, we've got income tax proposals as well, which are going to be funding our local services, funding 4,000 extra teachers. We're the only major party which has come up with more progressive tax policies in the rest of the UK. We're creating another band for people earning over £150,000. They'll be paying 60% income tax on every pound over £150,000 that they earn. And that's fairer. Basically what will happen is if you earn less than the median wage in Scotland, you'll be paying less tax. If you earn more than £26,000, you'll be paying more tax. And that's fair to fund our local services and to fund our public services that we all rely on.
Specifically, how will St Andrews students benefit from your party's policies?
Well, we've got, for St Andrews students, one of the major issues that we face is housing and education, of course. I know, for example, that I spend a lot on housing, so what we'll do is we'll have councils being able to build more houses. They'll be able to raise their own money with a fairer alternative to the council tax. What we'll have is a 1% of the value of the house that you live in will be paid, not by students because they'll still be exempt, but will still be paid, and that'll fund local council services, which enables them to build houses. And if they build houses, there's going to be enough places for St Andrews students and everyone else in St Andrews to live in. So that's how we're going to be dealing with the housing crisis in St Andrews. Also, education is another thing. We need to be stopping the attainment gap which exists in Scottish schools, where basically the circumstances of your birth determine how well you'll do in school and determine whether or not you'll go to university or not. St Andrews, we're all lucky to be here, but we have to realise that there's so many people who don't get the opportunity to come here because of whatever circumstances, drop with the grades, and that's because a lot of times to do with the attainment gap. We need to ensure that education is free for Scottish students, and of course that's under threat from the Tories right now, who want to increase tuition fees or have tuition fees for Scottish students as well, and that would of course put off a lot of people from coming to university and stops the high wage economy that we all want to see.
Another promise your party makes is to make schools, colleges and universities places that foster creativity, curiosity and growth. How do you effectively intend to achieve this?
Well, we need to be right now in schools we've got teachers which have an unsustainable workload. We'll be having 4,000 more teachers and they'll be fully qualified. What we'll be doing also in Scotland, which they're not doing in the rest of the UK, is opposing the marketisation of schools. So schools will be staying in the public sector, controlled by local authorities, and basically creativity and things like that. Basically, we need to be having an education system which works for the future, and that means that creativity will be structurally input into the curriculum, and that's how we'll foster creativity. And also, there's a whole section of culture in our manifesto that is now on the website that you can have a look at as well.
You touched on this with the housing, but life at St. Andrews can be very expensive. Even our supermarkets have some of the highest prices. Are you going to tackle this issue? How are you going to go about that?
So the limited powers that the Scottish Parliament has are not great. What we can do is we can have a hardship fund for students who are going through the summer, because a lot of the dropout rates happen in the summer because people just can't afford to be in St Andrews and be living the student lifestyle, because I know it is expensive just from my own experience, and I can understand that. What we want to do in the future is to have a citizen's income where everybody, regardless of whether they work or not, gets enough money to basically survive on, and that'll be that we don't have the power to introduce that just now, but we will be calling for that from Westminster, and that will mean that students will have enough money to survive on. What we need to be doing is having more progressive taxation. For example, having less of VAT, less VAT on things like that. That's a long-term goal. We need to have more progressive taxation, because VAT is obviously regressive, and that's just a tax that you pay on basically everything you buy. We need to be moving away from that, and so that basically the amount of tax that you pay is based upon your ability to pay it.
All right, well that's it. Thank you for your time.
That's all right. I'm Lewis Campbell, and I'm standing for the Scottish Green Party, because Scotland can be fairer, Scotland can be healthier, and Scotland can be greener. But a better Scotland needs a bolder Holyrood.